Welcome to today's episode of SwiftUI Elements. Today we will have a look at the shapes. Shapes are predefined shapes, which are used to fill backgrounds or combine it with other elements, so you can create custom buttons or other elements. So let's dive directly into the code. So in SwiftUI there are different predefined shapes. The first shape is a rectangle. Shapes normally fill the whole frame they get, so that's why you don't have some spacing around it. So for showing it, let's add a default padding so we can see it a little bit better. So that's the rectangle. Basically, the default is that they are filled with black. So as we learned in the last video, we can change the color. So in shapes, you can fill it with a different color. So let's fill it here with orange. So another element is the rounded rectangle. And the rounded rectangle, you can give it a corner size or a corner radius. So let's go for the corner radius. It's basically a number. So if I add 20, you can see in the preview, the corners get rounded. The third element which we have is the ellipse. Ellipse with double L. And it's basically a circle which is stretched in the height. And yeah, as I said already, the next one is the circle. And last but not least, the predefined, we have a capsule. A capsule is mostly used to display some kind of text for the background. So normally it looks like a pill. So when I change the frame of it, then we can see it a little bit better how we use it normally. So we get a width of 200, for example, and a height of 80. And now you could add a text in front of it and make some kind of tag system, as you know from other apps. So these are the basic predefined ones. Of course, you can also do your own shapes. It's a little bit more complex, so I will show you only an easy example. So for example, we want to define our own shape. Let's call it a triangle. All you have to do is to conform it to the shape. And the minimum requirement for it, as we can see, the compiler already tells us, is that we need a function which is called path. The function gets a rectangle, basically the frame which you have for your shape. So now we can start and drawing a path into that rectangle. So first thing we have to do is to define our path or initialize our path, like so. And then we can basically say we draw in the rectangle. So we have to tell the path where the starting point is, and then we have to move it like a pen on paper. So let's start with moving the pen to the starting position, and the starting position is a point with an X and a Y coordinate. So we say init X and Y, and because we want to draw in the rectangle, we can say, okay, I access the rectangle and say, okay, on the X-axis I want the middle point of the rectangle, so I say mid X. And also in the Y-axis, I do the same. So it's rect mid-Y. And let's change the preview to our new. Let's return the path first. So we see it in the preview. Let's change it to our triangle here. So because we haven't drawn anything right now, we see nothing in the preview. So let's add a line. So we move the pen to the starting position, and now we draw a line, and we add a line to the next point, and then is the next coordinate where we move the pen to. So we initialize it again with X and Y, and we say this, because we want to do a triangle, we are now in the middle of the rectangle. Now we need the minimum on the X-axis and the maximum on the Y-axis. So I say rect min X, and Y is rect max Y. And next thing we have to do is to close the path, because only when the closest path it gets filled. So let me add the next line, which will go to rect max X and rect max Y. And now you see SwiftUI can fill the position because it has 3 points, and it automatically tries to close the shape. So now we see a small triangle. Of course, that's an easy example and not so complex, but you can think about every shape you have in mind. You can also draw curves, but I think for the beginner video here, it's too much. So we will cover this topic on a future video. And that's basically all we have to say about shapes, or at least about basic shapes. I hope you liked the video, and I hope you will tune in to the next one. Till then, bye bye.